Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdy Needs VGC Midseason Showdown. Ladies and gentlemen, we have fought long and hard through our battles, and we are down to two final contestants. I'm Joe Carlino once again, ladies and gentlemen, and Empty Chair once again got into a fight, but unfortunately, he lost out. And Adit Selvaraj is here to join me for our final battle. Adit, how are you doing today, bud?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Dude, these battles have been absolutely insane.
Absolutely.
Just watching these trainers go through the 4 rounds of Swiss, watching those 2 semifinal battles, and we're down to our top 2 trainers. Like, that's just how you love Pokemon battling, isn't it?
Absolutely.
As we see our bracket here, ladies and gentlemen, we started out with Brady Smith and Hunter Braum, our 1 seed versus our 4 seed. Brady just went absolutely insane with that Defiant King Gambit. And Kyle Ayala and Jeremy Boyd in our 2 versus 3 seed. Kyle just went absolutely nuts with that Arcanine Hisui. And once again, an Arcanine Hisui in Regulation E is in the finals.
Oh, absolutely. I think Arcanine still has potential in Reg F too. I think it's just such a good Pokemon.
You were thinking Incineroar isn't going to try to knock it off its current crown?
I mean, maybe as the support kind, but you know, when there's a banned Rock Slide, there's always a way.
This is very true. I mean, Banded Rock Slide is very impressive in that part, man. I mean, but looking at the teams, I mean, Kyle's team with that support Hisui and Arcanine, that Will-O-Wisp was absolutely critical when he battled Matt Stevenson in round 2, getting those Will-O-Wisps off and just putting major pressure on physical attackers.
Right. As someone who used the same team today, I can definitely confirm that Will-O-Wisp is an amazing move on Arcanine. Arcanine and Hisui is just such a versatile Pokemon. It can be played in so many different ways. And if you notice Kyle's team composition, this is the same exact 6 that Raghav Malavia got second in San Antonio Regionals with. And that Landorus Incarnate and King Gambit put in work.
You are correct with that. I mean, the Landorus, with the Terra Poison, though, which seems to be a very common Terra type on the Incarnate, not the Therian. The Therian normally runs Terra Flying because Choice Scarf, Terra Flying, Terra Blast. It just does massive levels of damage. But even then, Landorus Incarnate, that Sheer Force Life Orb combination, it's been a threat ever since that combination was even made legal.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is that Brady has the Landorus Therian on his team, and Kyle has the Landorus Incarnate. So it should be really interesting to see which of these Landorus come out on top.
And honestly, from what I've seen with Kyle, I don't think I've ever seen him bring the Clefairy yet to any of his games. So the fact that he's used essentially a 5 Pokemon team, this is really impressive of a run for Kyle in this mid-season showdown.
Right. Yes, I think that Ogerpon probably Water Absorb was probably more important than leveraging Friend Guard. So it should be really interesting to see if Clefairy has a good matchup into Brady, taking those Kowtow Cleaves.
Yeah, you're definitely right on that with the Kowtow Cleaves. And then if we look at Brady's team, I mean, the King Gambit Defiant, we've all seen that in the past. Like, you let that Pokemon get set up with even a +1, it's a problem. But then you add in a Pokemon like Sinistcha, where if King Gambit gets just even remotely low of health, and he has Protect on his King Gambit too, which allows it to get the 25% recovery from Hospitality on top of Rage Powder to take away any single target attacks.
And don't forget about the Rillaboom's Grassy Terrain. That healing is just stacking over if the battle goes on too long. I think it's in Kyle's best interest to really take that King Gambit out.
And then we also have to keep in mind that with Brady's team, that Heatran, hitting those Magma Storms was absolutely critical, especially against Hunter. Being able to hit on a Terra Water Hisui and Arcanine, which is already resisted, but then you hit it again on the Tornadus while it's setting up the rain with the Rain Dance, setting up that prayer. And unfortunately, despite having Storm in the name, it doesn't matter about guaranteed hit. But we're getting into game number 1 here, ladies and gentlemen. We see Brady leads with the Chenpao and the Heatran, and Kyle leads with that King Gambit and Landorus.
So this is a really interesting lead from Kyle. I think the Terra Poison is necessary to survive an Icicle Crash from that Chien Pao, and we see Kyle locking that in, prepared to go for an Earth Power. And there is the Clefairy
There's a Clefairy.
Clefairy that we've been missing all the sets.
It's sorely been missing, and we do see a switch out on Kyle's side. King Gambit switches out. You're presumably afraid of the Magma Storm from the Heatran or even the Sacred Sword from the Chien Pao. We do see that Terra Orb come out, and Kyle has flung it at his Landorus. It is covered in crystals, and I think that's Psychic type, right? I think that's a Psychic type Terra. If I'm correct, I think it's Psychic, right? I mean, Psychic, they just expand the skin.
Yeah. And now we see Brady terrestrialize his Heatran into the Grass type, so resisting that Earth Power if Kyle has chosen to go for that.
That is very true, but also Chien Pao could potentially go for the Sacred Sword into the Clefairy. Pretty much does nothing.
Oh, the Sludge Bomb. Okay, that was a great call from Kyle.
Oh my god.
And taking that right out.
It's a one-hit knockout on the Heatran. Brady Smith loses his terrestrialization on the turn. He activates it. Kyle Ayala automatically goes up 4-3. What a play by Kyle. And now comes in the other Landorus. It's one Landorus versus another Landorus.
Now, we would originally think that Kyle's Landorus is in a problematic situation, but that Clefairy with that Friend Guard and Follow Me makes sure that Kyle's Landorus is going to be completely safe.
That is very true. However, the Landorus can still go for something like the Choice Scarf Rock Slide potentially to still do damage because the Sword of Ruin is activated on Chien Pao, which will do good damage because now that Landorus is a poison type, it's not, I mean, it was still neutral to the Rock Slide attack by virtue of it being a ground and flying type, but now it's straight neutral. So it remains to be seen what Kyle is going to do here on his Pokemon and what Brady is going to do to try to balance out that lost terrestrialization.
So Kyle Ayala going for that Moonblast into Chien Pao, attempting to break that Focus Sash, but we see a Protect on Brady Smith's side.
And we see a Stomping Tantrum came out on the Clefairy, and that did good damage on the Clefairy with the Sword of Ruin boost on it. But it also, the fact that Landorus went into the Clefairy slot, you don't think that potentially he was expecting a Follow Me there, do you?
I think he was just trying to get damage on the board.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility, but we also have to remember that Chien Pao is Focus Sash, ladies and gentlemen, so one hit will definitely allow it to survive from this Landorus. And with the Sheer Force, oh, but the Clefairy whiz, but the Follow Me unfortunately makes it go down.
So that's a lot of resources dedicated to taking out that Clefairy, and Landorus is still sitting pretty.
As it goes for the Sheer Force Life Orb boosted Earth Power, a critical hit too, mind you, brings it down to the Focus Sash, but I think even with the Focus Sash, it was going to live on 1 HP no matter what, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sheer Force Life Orb doesn't do anything with that. There's no power boost to that. It's just, you know, bring it down to 1 HP every single time. Screw the potential, you know, Focus Sash or whatever. I mean, actually, Invisible Focus Sash. We forgot about Invisible Focus Sash.
Jamie Boy and his crazy EV spreads, those invisible Focus Sashes everywhere.
And we see King Gambit come back out onto the field for Kyle Ayala. And it remains to be seen what Brady is going to do here, as essentially that Landorus, a Stomping Tantrum, could be super effective into both Landorus Incarnate and the King Gambit here. However, both of them do have Protect on their movesets. And we have to remember, if Stomping Tantrum hits a Protect move, it does get boosted to 150 base power too.
So it's going to do a lot of damage, especially if Brady preserves his Chien Pao, keeping that Sword of Ruin activated on the field.
As we see Kyle opt to switch out his Landorus and bring in the Ogerpon Wellspring here. And King Gambit goes for the Sucker Punch and knocks out the Chien Pao on a critical hit. A critical hit, that matters, ladies and gentlemen. The critical hit always matters.
Stomping Tantrum goes into Ogerpon, not doing a lot of damage. That's that Grass Water type for you.
And we see Rillaboom come out here for Brady. So now it is Ogerpon, King Gambit, and Landorus versus Landorus and Rillaboom. And we have to remember, because Stomping Tantrum is the move that is locked in with that Landorus, it is not half powered by the grassy terrain.
Right. That's one advantage of using it over Earthquake.
We see a double protect come out here from the King Gambit and the Ogerpon. And Rillaboom opts for the fake out here into the King Gambit slot. And where did Landorus opt to Stomping Tantrum? Into the King Gambit.
So Stomping Tantrum, the next turn is going to do so much damage.
Even through the Follow Me too, which probably is the potential play here, I would assume, from the Ogerpon, just to redirect a move that is essentially not very effective.
Grassy Glide goes out into Ogerpon on a critical hit.
A critical hit comes out. A Sucker Punch comes out on the King Gambit here. And it went Stomping Tantrum. It doubled
into the Ogre. Oh, Ogerpon lived on 1 HP.
Oh my god, the 1 HP survival. And the Ivy Cudgel comes out. And the Landorus is bonked on the head and is knocked out.
Yeah, this is looking like Kyle Ayala's game.
Oh my god, that was absolutely incredible. And that was a 150 base power move too, with the Stomping Tantrum.
That's really a testament to Ogerpon's bulk and how Kyle has decided to train his Ogerpon.
Being able to essentially just survive on 1 HP, that literally had to be a damage roll right there. Because he got I mean, granted, the critical hit probably didn't really matter in hindsight with the Rillaboom, but I'm assuming it feels like Brady probably was thinking about a Follow Me again, since he has 2 Pokemon with that move, and just try to opt in for that. Or maybe even thinking King Gambit was going to try to go for a double protect,
right,
if anything. But that is incredible that Ogerpon lived on 1 HP. And now Brady has to think, like, what is he going to do? How is Brady going to be able to force a Game 3 in this finals?
Yeah, I think that Landorus has a very good matchup into Brady Smith's team. Being able to hit so many of the Pokemon on Brady's team super effectively, or opting to go into that Terra Poison, going for those Terra Poison Sledge Bombs. This combination of Landorus, King Gambit, Rillaboom, and Ogerpon Willspring does so much damage, supporting Landorus, King Gambit. Just so much setup potential, just so much damage on the board. It will be really interesting to see how Brady Smith adapts.
Exactly, because both sides didn't even need to get a Defiant boost off, even though Brady would have done it on Kyle, because Brady has the Intimidate, although Kyle does have the Intimidate too, so it technically does even out there. It's just a matter of when or if the King Gambit is out there on the field when an Intimidate comes out.
Right. And the way that Brady has built his team is really interesting, because it doesn't seem like Arcanine is a great Pokemon to bring against this team.
As we see game number 2 leads, and there's the Intimidate.
And there's a Defiant boost.
There's the Intimidate we were talking about, and out comes a Defiant, so now this King Gambit is automatically at +1 attack.
Yeah.
With the Sword of Ruin to boot.
So I'm thinking that if Sucker Punch goes into that Landorus, it's going bye-bye. That Sword of Ruin plus the Defiant boost plus Black Glasses, it's over. Or it's Ogre, as we should say.
Ogre
Pawn.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Ogre Pawn. Yes, that's a good one. That is an excellent one right there, Adit. But it remains to be seen what Kyle would opt to do here. I mean, could he even just go for extra power on the King Gambit here? Like, maybe opt for something like a Swords Dance or something like that.
So we see the Terastallization locked in on Kyle's side, that Terra Dragon on King Gambit. It should be really interesting to see what Brady does. Does he call it?
He calls a switch on Landorus here and brings in Rillaboom. He goes for the Grassy Surge, activating the grass terrain. And Landorus switches out here. And what comes in on the Landorus slot? It is the Clefairy once again. As we do see the Terra Orb shine as it activates on the side of Kyle Ayala, and King Gambit would make Hassel very proud in art class as it becomes a dragon type.
Does Brady call it and go for an Icicle Crash? We'll have to see. Sacred Sword? No. Okay, so King Gambit is just sitting very pretty here. +3 now to its attack. With that Sword of Ruin and its friend Clefairy on the field, it's not looking very good for Brady Smith.
No, it is not. Especially with that King Gambit, it could essentially go for something like another, maybe just try to go overkill, try to get another Sucker Punch out there. Because now that it's Terra Dragon and Clefairy is out on the field, it has Follow Me potentially. But we see Fake Out come out, and
the Icicle Crash goes into the King Gambit, not taking it out!
Not enough, but the Kowtow Cleave, a +3 Kowtow Cleave, is just enough to knock out that Rillaboom, don't you think?
Yeah, and that's Rillaboom out of there.
But Clefairy flinched. That could be very big for this endgame right here, because now that Clefairy, it doesn't have Life Dew like some Clefairy sets will have. So it can't help out with healing its teammate. We see a King Gambit mirror now on the field.
And we see that is Brady Smith's last Pokemon. So that King Gambit's going to have to do so much work against Clefairy, King Gambit, and whatever Pokemon that Kyle Ayala has in the back. We saw that Landorus.
Yeah, we did see Landorus is in the back for Brady. We do see that Landorus is in the back for Kyle. So it honestly does remain to be seen how this is going to end out. Because essentially King Gambit, I think 2 Sucker Punches at +3 with the Black Glasses might be able to 2-hit KO this Chen Pao potentially.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that there is no reason for Kyle to not just play this safe.
As you see a Follow Me on the Clefairy, Icicle Crash does come out. How much damage is it going to do to Clefairy? A decent amount of damage.
Sword Stance comes out. Okay, so we see a +2 King Gambit on Brady's side. And that +3 King Gambit does so much damage. That Sword of Ruin.
Oh my god. Sword of Ruin plus the Black Glasses plus the +3. That was a resisted hit too. And it did over 50%.
Now Brady is going to have to break this Clefairy if he wants a fighting chance to get back into this game.
I mean, with the Icicle Crash doing as much as it did, I mean, he could potentially try to go for that one more time. But, I mean, King Gambit this King Gambit on Kyle's side is just going absolutely bonkers.
Absolutely.
Now we have to see what does Brady opt to do here to potentially make sure that Clefairy and King Gambit can't do anything. Clefairy goes for the Follow Me, redirecting any attacks. And King Gambit went for the Sucker Punch into the King Gambit.
It's going to take so much... Oh, a critical hit to take out Clefairy, but does that matter? Because King Gambit is just sitting pretty. Going for that Kowtow Cleave into the Chen Pao, taking it down to the red.
Oh, it was Brady's King Gambit that went Sucker Punch. I thought that was Kyle's. Like, that just shows, like, when it says King Gambit, use Sucker Punch. It's like, you don't know. Oh, that is so big for Kyle.
And now we see Ogerpon come out. And it's not looking very good for Brady Smith.
No, it is. Well, there's always a possibility that Brady can come back from this, but it's kind of difficult to see what he can do here, because that King Gambit, I mean, it's at +3. And once Landorus comes in, it's at +4.
And the interesting thing is that Brady's King Gambit has no redirection. It's just constant attack, attack, attack from Brady's side. It's not looking very good, but let's see if that +2 King Gambit can clutch it out.
There's definitely a possibility here, but if Ogerpon didn't go for the redirection with the Follow Me like Clefairy was trying to do, an Icicle Crash could take out that King Gambit.
That is true. We'll have to see. Oh, a Protect on that side. Let's see.
Trying to bait a Sucker Punch into that spot. Oh, Spiky Shield comes out. The opposing King Kowtow Cleave into the Ogerpon.
A great read from Kyle Ayala.
And now that King Gambit took Actually,
Going kowtow cleave into the opposing King Gambit. Now it is Landorus and Qian Pao versus the world.
it is essentially that now, ladies and gentlemen. That protect probably was what did Brady in. Because if he would have just attacked that King Gambit there, it probably would have been better for him. But then again, I mean, you're low HP and you know that King Gambit is +3 attack. So that's the mind game.
And now +4.
And Ogerpon is now -1 attack, but it is still super effective with the power of the Ivy Cudgel. And I feel like +4 Sucker Punch is going to do a lot. We see a Follow Me come out on the side of Kyle Ayala. King Gambit goes for the Sucker Punch.
And that's a one-hit knockout thanks to the Sword of Ruin and all those Defiant boosts.
That is true, and out comes an Icicle Crash into the Ogerpon, which does good damage, but unfortunately that's not going to be enough. That is not going to be enough, but Qian goes for Sucker Punch here.
It's still not enough!
Still not enough, but it does prevent the Sucker Punch coming out on the King Gambit slot.
And Kyle Ayala is your mid-season Showdown champion.
What a performance by Kyle Ayala, making it all the way to the finals and beating Brady Smith, who is coming off some great battles against Joshua Lorsi in a friendly exhibition Regulation F tournament.
Oh, absolutely. It's been such a, joy to watch Brady play and his content. It was really... And Brady just came off top 32 at the... or it was top 16, right?
I think he was top 32 at San Antonio.
Top 32 using the same exact team.
Yeah, because he was on fire at San Antonio. I think if I remember correctly, I think he said he bubbled out on Resistance, which is so unfortunate because you don't know what it feels like to bubble until you've actually bubbled.
No, that happened to me today. I was using the same team as Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, like that happened to me last month here. I did the PC and I finished 5th place.
Same here today.
Yeah, I finished 5th, but Ryder finished 4th. So that was the issue. Like, I battled a junior and my resistance was just underneath. So if we take the junior out, I still finished in 5th place.
Right.
But it's like that bubble feeling. It gets you, but then it just motivates you to be better.
It feel I still believe in this team. We saw the 6 that Raghav Malavia used to get 2nd place in San Antonio is now the Tampa Midseason Showdown Champions team.
And shoutouts to Hisui and Arcanine. Once again, and it didn't even come. It didn't even come to this set, and it wins another TPCI sanctioned event.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting the way Brady built his team. I think that it's not very, it has Sinistra on it, but it's not very hospitable to Hisui and Arcanine, thanks to that Landorus, Heatran, and opposing King Gambit.
Exactly, and I mean, with Landorus having the Intimidate, essentially, like, we've all been there before too, where you think you got that lead proper, and if they lead that King Gambit and you bring out that Landorus and you get that Defiant off, it's essentially a GG's and a half because they just go off.
Oh, absolutely. It's so interesting to see that matchup, and I think we have our winner here, Kyle Ayala.
We do have our winner, Kyle Ayala. He is going to join us momentarily, ladies and gentlemen, so we can have a little winner's interview with our mid-season Showdown champion.
Yes, it was so nice to commentate with you, Joe.
Adit, thank you so much, dude. Thank you for a fun for a full finals battle. Let's bring in Kyle Ayala, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give him a nice round of applause as he joins Adit. And Adit, you have a wonderful holiday season.
Oh, you too, sir.
All right. Kyle, please join the booth. Yep, you're right there, bud.
Gosh.
How you doing?
Doing great. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing excellent. I mean, dude, you won the mid-season showdown. How does it feel?
I feel a little weird, to be honest.
Well,
I didn't come in here expecting to win. Not gonna lie.
And you did something that Lorsi couldn't do. You beat Brady. You did something that Lorsi couldn't do.
Bro, that was
Because
pretty hilarious. But
it was those battles were awesome. Yes,
yeah, they were pretty fun to watch.
But just being able to see a couple of exhibition regulation F battles, maybe give us an early preview of what we're going to see in Portland and Charlotte and all the regionals that are coming up.
Yeah, Paris Trap is gonna be something you guys gotta watch out for. I'll tell you right now.
I mean, I've
If
been
you sleep on it, you're gonna get gooped.
I mean, I've been seeing a lot of Raging Bolt coming out with
Oh
Regulation
yeah,
F. Have
with a
you
thunderclap. Yep.
have you used it at all yet in like your early testing?
Unfortunately, as much as I would like to play Reg Up right now, is that there's 3 mid-season showdowns. This is the first one. Then there's next 2 in Miami, so I gotta play those. So
Good point. Being able to do that. Now, when you decided to make this team, which Adit mentioned was Raghav Malavia's team that made second at the San Antonio Regionals, what was your mentality in using the Landorus Incarnate over Landorus Theory?
well, here's the thing with Lander Y. A lot of King Gambit players are running Terra Poison instead of Terra Dragon, so they're immediately threatened by the Earth Power. 1-hit KO onto an Earth Power, and then also Sand Steer, it'll 1-hit KO too. So even redirection won't save them unless they have a Clef.
Yeah, and your Clefairy. I mean, we were saying that like you hadn't brought Clefairy at all to any of your battles that we saw on stream, and in your finals you bring Clefairy. What was Clefairy's I mean, I know it's like a cleric in a sense, but that friend guard, it goes a long way with making sure your Pokemon live extra attacks.
It was there to check King Gambit, to be honest. Make sure it stays at bay. Not necessarily to counter it, but just like, okay, it can take a couple hits. Even if it SDs, I'll be all right.
And then in round number 2 during Swiss, when you battled Matt Stevenson on stream, your Hisuian Arcanine was basically the biggest threat ever with the Will-O-Wisp strategy, just getting physical attackers. We all know how much a burn is to physical attackers. What do you think is more detrimental to an opposing team? Getting burned or getting frozen?
Honestly, I think getting burnt, because a lot of people are running Arcanine, right? So they'll just Flare Blitz out of it.
That's very true, because there's so many moves that you think would be able to thaw you out, but they don't thaw you out. And it's like, well, this makes no sense. Why can't I thaw out here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm using fire moves. I should be able to. Or certain Pokemon without Magma Armor should be able to be thawed out immediately, especially if there's sunlight out and you're still frozen in sun.
Yeah, exactly. You can't freeze in sun, but you can stay frozen in sun.
Exactly.
Mechanically makes no sense.
How does that make any sense whatsoever?
I mean, I guess it needs time to melt. The ice, I guess.
No, that's fair. Now, just for the heck of it, because I mean, I gotta mention the shirt, dude. How much of the mama mentality was running through you tonight with this tournament run?
Get better every day, honestly.
Hey, every day, man. Every
No
day.
matter how many times you lose, you gotta keep going, and you gotta realize, okay, I may have not done so well in the last couple events, but at the end of the day, you gotta get better. A lot of people are gonna improve each and every event. Look at what you run, etc. Scouting and all that. You have to keep the mindset like, okay, doesn't matter what they bring, there's always a way to beat it.
That's always true, man. I mean, no matter what your opponent brings. I mean, we saw it with Jackson versus Jeremy in the final round. Jackson won that first game with the Dondozo Tatsugiri set, and game 2, Jeremy was able to play around that Dondozo perfectly to the point where Jackson didn't even bring it in game number 3.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's those mind games where it's like, you know a way to beat it, but the best way to beat it is to make sure they don't bring it.
Exactly. Intimidation tactics in the game, so to speak. Not
It's-
outside the game, but inside the game. Like, oh, I beat your Dondozo so bad, you ain't gonna bring it.
Exactly. Now, in your Swiss rounds, what would you say was your favorite matchup that you played? Like the one that you like just saw it on the open team sheet and was just like, there's no way I'm losing this.
I think it was the Bax Ninetales, because the thing is that even if he brought Ting Lu, I'll just burn it and then just leave it alone.
And you know the funny thing, Matt's team that he ran today was actually his San Antonio team.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't make my way over there.
Nah, it was just too expensive to go to San Antonio, especially. I mean, it's a holiday season, so it's like we're all spending money. We're all making sure we're hanging out with our family, our friends, our loved ones, and all that. And I'm sure you've got a bunch of friends and loved ones that you're looking forward to spending Christmas with, right?
Yeah, of course. On the 24th, I'm driving back down tonight, right down I-75. But after that, I'm gonna head to my aunt's house and then make a buffalo dip and go ahead and enjoy the Christmas.
Okay, the buffalo dip sounds really good right now.
Yeah, man.
I
I know TikTok got me on that, so I had to do it.
And now, are you going to be going to any regionals coming up?
Yes, I'll be doing Charlotte. I'll be doing, what was it, the other one? Knox, because some friends helped me out going to Knox, and we'll see what the next one is. I'll go to NEIC since it's right there, but what was it? We'll see if Latam comes out with any events. I might go there since I'm in a home base, so to speak, to go to Latam. So we'll see how things go.
And then even Orlando in April.
Yeah, Orlando regionals. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to that too.
Because Regulation F is going to be a long season with all these events that are going to be, and I'm honestly looking forward to seeing how the meta plays out with Regulation F. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Kyle for joining us today for the winners.
Appreciate it.
Thank you
Appreciate
guys
having me.
so much. You're okay. Kyle, thank you so much, dude. Merry Christmas to you. Get home
Right
safe.
back at you, man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end our commentary with the organizer of the VGC Midseason Showdown here at Nerdy Needs. We got
my ears off.
Gotta take the ears off right now. We got Katie Byrne, ladies and gentlemen. Katie, how are you doing today?
Doing good. I wanted to present you for doing our first mid-season showdown with an exclusive shirt from Yokohama. So thank you so much. We had our very first mid-season showdown. I think it went great, and you did an amazing job casting it. So thank you for coming.
I'm greatly appreciative of the opportunity to cast for you guys, and thank you so much for this, for the Fuecoco, exclusive Yokohama shirt. Now, I'm assuming Fuecoco is your favorite starter.
He was our starter.
He was your starter.
And he's Ryder's starter.
And he's Ryder's starter, too. I mean,
So you better say it's your favorite starter, too, because now you have the shirt.
I'll say it, even though my starter was Miascarada.
Okay,
so essentially, Ryder would have been my rival.
There we go.
So, how are you planning to celebrate the Christmas season?
Just with family. Gonna go have some fun. Now that this is over, and I'm so glad we're able to do it, and next time we'll do more. So come join us here at Nerdy Needs, and again, thank you everyone for watching us. It's been a fun day.
It's been an absolute blast, Katie. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen at home, we hope that you guys all enjoy your holiday season with family, friends, loved ones. Be safe, have fun, and we will see you guys with the next Midseason Showdown. I believe it's next Saturday, right? I think.
There is another one here in Florida. It's coming up soon. So
it's just not at Nerdy Needs.
Yep. So play Pokemon.
Exactly. Play Pokemon and be ready, because Regulation F will be here in check my watch.
Like a week.
Something like that, and we'll know the format on Monday. Merry Christmas.
Merry
everybody.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.